Hello and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is Patrick Knisley.
My name is Matthew Stoner.
My name is David Howe.
And I'm Austin Young.
Hey! A wild Austin Young appears.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Very good.
Thanks for being here.
being on the booth.
Yeah, thank you. It's episode 26, and we're going to talk about Fire Emblem 3 Houses. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Sakurai video presentation regarding the hero joining Smash. We have some other great news items, but before we get into all that, a couple quick shout outs. Andrew McHugh on YouTube said, Mario Maker 2 champion checking in, acknowledging him getting world record on all of our courses.
That's true.
All
May
right.
you rot in hell.
I see you. I hear you. Fuck you.
Hey, I've never met you, but I hate you. And that's all I have to say. All right,
And
Thanks for playing the levels, is what we're also saying.
Yeah.
Strategic Dino on Instagram replied to our most recent episode saying they really like Ultimate Alliance, especially the beefy leveling and power-up stuff that they don't remember from the old ones. So I like beef too.
Beefy leveling.
Thank you for being a devoted listener, Strategic Dinosaur.
Unlike Andrew McKee.
Yeah, fuck you.
Carnivorous listener.
Okay, before we get into the news, one other quick thing. So I was driving home today with my 4-year-old son because I take him to school and take him home. And new Tom York song, I think it was this, comes on the radio, and it's got like lots of almost like chiptune sounds in it.
Blippy and bloopy.
And this is how well I've trained him. He goes, "It sounds like pixel art." I'm like, yes.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
So anyway, okay, getting into
Wow.
it.
That's an astute kiddo you got there.
Getting into it.
Getting
Man,
into it.
That's a new Tom York fan right there.
Switch Lite pre-orders are up and probably down by now. I heard that lots of the pre-orders were already selling out.
Oh, really?
But if you're interested in purchasing a Switch Lite and you want to pre-order it through Best Buy or Amazon and maybe other places, you can do that now until
I saw
they run
pre-orders for all the 3 different colors.
All 4,
and,
yeah.
And the Pokemon version.
Right.
The Zamazenta and Zacia edition.
Thank you for saying that. Anytime we need to say that, I'm going to look at you.
I'll do it. I know how to do it. It ain't nothing.
You've practiced, huh?
Oh, yeah.
But perhaps more importantly, if you want to get a Disney Tsum Tsum Festival themed Switch, they announced that those are coming out in Japan, so you'll probably have to import it, but they are a thing.
Man, so this is a good-looking Switch.
It actually kind of is.
I think it looks great. It's like, I don't like the purple and orange combination of the Joy-Cons.
The purple and pink
But
is
I
the
love
shit.
this purple and pink.
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought the same thing. I was
Yeah.
like, I might have to buy a purple and orange and a green and pink to have this setup. Minus, because I don't like the little Mickey Mouse thing on the home screen.
Oh, see, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I like the little dots around it. I think it
got,
reminds
like,
me of like
stars or
it reminds me of like the Animal Crossing new 3DS. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but
There's like an Animal Crossing new 3DS that had kind of this like
same
very
sort of
it was
decoration.
like kind of what do you call it, stippalism or something like that. I don't know, that's not a thing, but like
that's a cool word. If it's not a thing, it's gonna be.
I liked that, and I think that I mean this. Are we all going to get Disney Tsum Tsum Festival now? That's my question.
The game or both the game
Okay,
and the
here's
Switch?
what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Switch Revision, a Switch Lite, Zacia and Zamazenta edition. I'm going to get a Disney Tsum Tsum Festival Switch, and then I'm going to get a Switch Pro whenever that comes out. Okay, I'm getting all the Switches.
So we've joked a lot about Disney Tsum Tsum. Well, we've joked twice now about Disney Tsum Tsum Festival on the podcast, but it must be a big thing in Japan, like for them to have a Switch,
Listen,
a
the
limited
home
edition.
button has 2 little Mickey ears
know.
around
Yeah.
it.
And that's what makes me not like it.
This is a Switch that Chris McKeever would get.
Yes.
Chris, if you're listening.
Yeah, two kids in a big coat on
out.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Speaking of Chris McKeever and 2 kids in a big coat, they stream Mario Maker 2. A Mario Maker 2 course upload limit was upped to 64. There was a lot of people being upset when it came.
And it went
the
from
game came out, it was
32
only
to
32.
64.
And they said they're going to up it again. So maybe do 100.
Yeah, they said they were going to up it one more time, right?
One more time.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll double it again, or maybe they'll give us another 32.
So the original topped out at 100. Do you think they're going to go to 100, or do you think they're going to do 128?
Yeah, or are they going up in increments of 32, and it's going to be a 98?
That would
Or 96, rather.
Nah,
sorry.
I don't think
Yep.
they're not gonna. I don't like the thought of that. But yeah, definitely everybody was really worried about it being only having 32 upload limit. There was like that guy who uploaded like an entire 32 levels on like the second day, I think. Like seriously, he uploaded in a whole game
Somebody
that he'd been
must have
planning
did
out
it, yeah.
the whole time, basically. And
my God.
he'd like drawn them all out, made them in the Wii U version, then ported them over. And
That isn't it.
Madness.
How much free time does that guy have?
I mean, I think he just was, 48 hours straight of making levels. But it's very good that this is like this. And I think it's also very smart that they
waited.
gated it at the beginning. So we weren't just inundated with trash
Yes.
at the beginning of the game. And now it like kind of forced people to actually learn how to make levels. And then now hopefully,
Right.
now that they have more space, those will be filled with good levels.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
I think it's good too.
Thank you, Yakamura the pigeon, for teaching me how to make great levels.
So they just Nintendo announced that Labo VR is going to, or that Captain Toad Treasure Tracker is going to have Labo VR compatibility for 4 courses. So that's kind of cool. And also, did you all see this? I just saw this recently. In Japan, if you're an NSO subscriber, you're going to be able to get Captain Toad for free for like 10 days.
I think
in August.
I think it's a week. It's like
for like a
7
week
days.
or so
Yeah.
in August.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah.
That is absolutely long enough to beat that game.
Yeah, it is. If you wanted to just sit down and do it, you could.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100% it, unless you're really good at games.
Yeah.
Because that sometimes takes
I
time.
honestly beat most of Treasure Tracker like in a day. Like, I mean, not getting everything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
can
But like
cruise
beating all the
through
levels.
it and pretty quickly.
Yeah. So, I mean, I
wonder-
guess more power to them, but that's going to be a lot of people that probably don't buy the game because of that.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they
It
beat
makes me
already.
wonder if they'll do something like that in the US, too. I mean, that's really unprecedented in a lot of ways, right? Like, this is the kind of thing we want from Nintendo Switch Online.
Like a free game.
Yeah,
At least one free game a month. Other than NES games.
Right.
Yeah.
See, this is something that happens
Right.
all the time on like Steam, right? They'll
Yeah.
be like, for the weekend, you get to play the full game of Just Cause 3 or whatever for like
Yeah.
a weekend. And
or Xbox Live or
Yeah,
the PlayStation Network.
Plus.
well, right, but those are games where you get to keep them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that true?
They're
Or do you have
associated
to
with
have the-
they're associated with your account
So as
indefinitely as long
have
as you have a subscription.
PS Plus or
Right,
whatever.
right. Like my PlayStation Plus is expired at this point, so all the games that I downloaded back then I can't access now. But I just never play my PS4 anymore. I just play
Right.
my Switch mostly. So, but like, yeah, with this one, they're giving it to you for a week, and it's just long enough to beat it. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously, some people aren't going to have time to play it during that week. So, and then it's going to be discounted afterwards, right?
That might be true. I did
Yeah,
not see. I saw this like a little bit before we started recording.
Yeah. I saw it earlier today. I think it's like, I think afterwards it's going to be on sale. So they're just trying to push it with the Labo VR
Right.
stuff. And we haven't talked about that. I mean, this game is kind of perfect for Labo. Like it's, the very like diorama style. It feels like a
It
very
does seem really
tangible
cool
thing.
for it.
Yeah. I'm thinking about getting the Labo VR at some point if it goes on sale because I have every other Labo. So I feel like I'm a completionist.
Yeah.
So I got to get this.
You
one too.
deserve all the Labo. I've always said that about you. You deserve all the Labos.
So YouTuber Arlo, who if you don't know who Arlo is, you should check it out. He's a Nintendo enthusiast puppet, and I'm a big puppet fan.
Yeah.
On YouTube, has made a big push for Nintendo to remaster Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and been I think successful because it seems like this is getting around. I don't know that we would be talking about it if it hadn't also made the rounds.
It was
in other
trending on
places.
Twitter, his hashtag of like remake Thousand Year Door. And I think people really like Arlo.
I like Arlo.
I also like.
I
like Arlo. Arlo can be really negative sometimes. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. So like Arlo is so often like just to like be the voice opposed to everyone. He'll be like, I just don't. Oh, that's a pretty good Arlo. Actually. He's like, he'll be like, I don't like Kirby, so kill me. It's just like, but that having said, I do like Arlo, but it's like I think that his fans are like very rabid, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And will do hashtags like, he has his own like. He has his own
Patreon and-
well, I was going to say Arlo Palooza, right? He has
He has his own little
convention
con
that he
in
does.
California.
Yeah.
I think he's in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, I don't know how big it is. But.
Any of you guys play Thousand Year Door?
I never have. So if they do remaster it, I might try it, actually.
I think that is the case for most people that own a Switch, is that they never played Thousand Year Door.
I skipped GameCube era, and that was a big GameCube game, right?
Yeah. Or it was a GameCube game. It wasn't
a GameCube.
Yeah, it wasn't like a big
Thousand Year Door is the second Paper Mario, right?
I think it's the
third.
Because there was Paper Mario 2 was on N64.
Got
right?
it. Okay.
Yeah,
I think I rented this one weekend and really enjoyed it, but didn't get far enough for it to be this iconic game for me the way it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, I played Super Paper Mario for the Wii, which was not a very Paper Mario style game. Like, it was a little bit more platformy, a little bit more like straightforward, not so much RPG-ish.
According to Arlo, that's when it started to go downhill.
Yeah, and then Color Splash really ruined it.
Yeah. Sticker Star and all that.
Sticker Star and all that. So it's like, I think I definitely would play this if it came out. So Nintendo, clearly people want it, just make it.
And I think Intelligent Systems does the Paper Mario games. And
That's right.
They just finished the Fire Emblem game that we're going to talk about. So maybe it's good. He picked a good time to do this. Though I'm sure they're working on something else. It's not like, oh, stop the presses. Arlo said we need to do this.
Right, yeah. We'll postpone the DLC until 2 years from now.
But Nintendo also, they updated the sales numbers on their website, which we've talked about in the past. The last one was updated in March. And now they have their hardware and software sales up through the end of June of this year. They have sold 36.87 million units of hardware of the Switch and 210.13 million software titles have been sold. So that's a lot.
Jesus.
And just real quick, they also, just the top 3 Switch games, unless y'all want to talk about more than that. Mario Kart 8, which I think already was the top game, is holding strong. Mario Odyssey is the second game, and Smash is now the third top-selling software for the Nintendo Switch.
So Mario Kart's still beating Smash.
Yes,
That's probably only a matter of time, right?
I can give you the exact numbers if you'd like, but
That's
yes.
okay.
That's all right. Well, I will say one other number thing is that they are also predicting 52.74 million Switch units sold by the end of this fiscal year, which would be March 2020. So that is somewhere in the range of, 18, I can't do the math, million to be sold before March. So
To put these like numbers into perspective of
These do, yeah.
what this means is like we have to compare it to the idea that Switch launched 2 years ago in March and it's only had 2 holiday cycles in America. Right. Whereas like the PS4 and DS launched with 3 holiday cycles.
Right, and there were some people like comparing PlayStation for like amount of time that they've been out sales versus the, you know what I mean? Like, taking the first 2.5 years of the PS4 sales and comparing it to the Switch and all that kind of stuff.
And it's a little hard to compare, but the TLDR version is Switch is doing really well. Let's sell some more.
Yeah, it's just nice to see Nintendo have a hit again, honestly. So good for them.
Yeah.
I'm curious about the ratio of Switch to Switch Lite of their expectations going into the holiday season as well.
How many of those 18 or whatever million units are supposed to be Switch Lites? That's a good question.
And just how much that boosts that bottom line number. Yeah, that'll be crazy.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm still surprised that Mario Kart is the top selling software title.
I am now.
I'm not. I think Mario Kart has been the top selling software title on every platform.
That's great.
Mario is so big. Of the top 10 games, a lot of them are Mario games. Like I'm gonna pull it up just to tell y'all, but like it's Mario Kart, Super Mario Odyssey. You got the Mario Party.
Mario Party's up there.
The after Mario Party, which I think now we're in the 8th most selling game, is Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which is kind of crazy because that came out in January.
Where's Mario Maker 2 on that list?
Mario, it's not on the list yet. It's not on the top 10 yet. Mario Tennis Aces is also on the top 10 at 10. So I think people love Mario, you know?
Yep.
I do.
Put Mario in an automobile and we love him.
They should put Mario on the Xbox. Maybe we'll start selling some Xboxes.
So there was an event called QuakeCon that happened recently, and they shadow dropped Doom 1 through 3 on Switch and other platforms. So David, do you want?
Yeah, sure. I'll take this one. So QuakeCon goes on every year. It's kind of id Software's convention that they do. They did a remaster of, I say remaster, but it's really a re-release, of Doom 1 and 2, which are kind of the OG looking Dooms. A little bit of controversy there with those two. There was like a forced Bethesda.net sign-in that you had to do for those, which was annoying. I did pick up Doom 1, and I was playing it again. That game is just as fun as it was 25 years ago, and it runs great on the Switch, honestly. I think it's a fantastic port.
Doom is the first online multiplayer game I ever played when I was like 10 or whatever.
Yeah, playing deathmatch and stuff like that?
Yeah. With people on little servers that I knew through BBSs. Anyway,
yeah. Very old of you to say. But it's, they run great. People were pretty pissed about the login thing. It's like adding DRM to a 25-year-old game is just pretty uncouth and not very cool. Bethesda has since come out and said that was a mistake, that it was meant just for their Slayers Club members, which is kind of the Doom fan club, I guess. So that is going to be patched out allegedly eventually. Not that it matters, because now they have all our personal information, which is what they wanted in the first place from this. So whatever. So that's kind of cool. Doom 1 and 2 run great. I haven't played Doom 3 yet. I didn't download that one, but I hear Doom 3 runs fantastically. Doom 3 was ported by Panic Button, actually.
Yeah.
So that explains a lot of why it runs so well. It's running 1080, 60 frames per second.
Doom 3 is not as well regarded though, right?
That's a lot of people really like it. It's just not, it's not the quick, wide open kind of gameplay of Doom 1 and 2. Like, those are like giant arenas and you have to like find your way through, and it's kind of a maze. Doom 3 is like a corridor shooter that is a horror game, right? They just kind of changed up the style. That having been said, like at the time, it was a benchmark for like graphics, I
remember that.
Like a beautiful, and from everything I've seen on the Switch so far, it still looks great. Obviously it's like a PlayStation 2, 3 era game. But it's like, so it's great. I'm going to be picking that one up at some point. And then also in addition to this, kind of similar to this Doom news, before these games came out, the ratings for them had leaked, like the ESRB ratings had leaked ahead of time. Also leaked by the ESRB ratings was a rating for Doom 64. Which is pretty exciting. That game has only ever been on the N64. That was a game made for the N64, and it would never been re-released since. So that would be really exciting.
I hope it's called Doom 64.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I hope that it is on other platforms as well. That'd be interesting.
I think it will be. Yeah. And I think it'll be just like this drop. I think they're just not ready for it yet. You know what I mean? Because it hasn't been released on anything. I'm really excited for them to release Doom 3 through 63. Because those have never been released. And I think those are going to be great games.
So there was...
Matt did not enjoy that joke.
I'm sorry, I was reading.
It's okay.
There was... The day that we're recording this, on July 30th, there was I'm going to say video presentation about Smash, about the hero who is joining Smash. So instead of the traditional, more Nintendo Direct style presentation, Sakurai decided to do a live stream, is what he was calling it, format.
Can I take an issue with this for a second?
You may.
Because they said that it wasn't a Nintendo Direct style, but the only thing that made this different from being a Nintendo Direct style presentation was that instead of it cutting to him looking at the camera, it cut to him with a controller in his hand looking at the camera. Like, it was very much like all the other Smash presentations
I guess,
they've done.
Allegedly, he was more... improvising. We're not working off a script, kind of talking off the cuff.
Maybe that's what it is.
And you could see he had 4 controllers in front of him, and so he was demonstrating the 4 different.
That'll help his arthritis.
The 4 different hero alts, in real time or whatever, as opposed to pre-cut. But it was a weird thing.
Could you watch this live? Because that's what I thought was weird about it, is watching the recording and there's the lack of editing that you would expect from a live production.
Yeah, I don't think you could watch it. At least
it was pre-recorded.
It was definitely pre-recorded.
But yeah, there was definitely a bit at the beginning where he was like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but he was like, we're doing this live stream style because we don't have the budget. And then you heard someone in the background laughing.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. He was like the person behind the camera being like,
it sounded like the crew was laughing. I don't know if that was a joke or what. It must have been.
I mean, they clearly have the budget. It's
think
the,
they
it's
wanted
the top 3 selling games on the Switch.
I think he wanted to do it that way for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a lot to talk about the presentation format. So let's talk a little bit about Hero. The 4 alts are from Dragon Quests 11, 3, 4, and 8.
11S Shadows of a...
Yeah, every time he said 11, he'd say...
Shadows of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition.
So the version that's on the Switch specifically, y'all, or coming to the Switch. So, and he went into great detail about their voice actors, which was also interesting, I guess.
Yeah, just the whole format of this for 22 minutes about one character. This feels unprecedented. Because it's like huge, because obviously Sakurai loves Hero.
He just loves him so much.
Like, loves Dragon Quest, and it's huge, and it's like, I don't know, if like James Cameron had a 22-minute presentation about Avatar. Right. James Cameron loves Avatar.
That's what the 4 new Avatar movies are going to be.
Yeah, this is like Sakurai like loves this character, and he's happy that it's home. It's like on a Nintendo platform, on Smash Brothers, his series. We're like he's invited us to his home, and he's like, let me show you my toys.
Let me show you my 4 Pro controllers.
Well, I think I know why Sakurai loves Hero so much, and it's because he's seemingly a completely random character. It's like it feels like Brawl the character, right? It's like where in Brawl you would have like random trips, or you would like randomly like do more damage or something like that. It's like it's from everything we've seen from this presentation, it's like the pull down menu, I did not realize, is always randomized from like a pool of potential moves. And then like he can crit randomly.
Right, so like his smash attacks may or may not give you a critical attack. I hope that means when they're not critical, they're not very strong, but we'll see.
I bet not. I bet he's just really strong. But like, just everything about him seems like the casual side of Smash. You know what I mean? Which is what Sakurai has always wanted. You know, he's clearly against it being like a competitive game, and he loves the casual aspect of it.
There's this tweet. Someone posted the pictures of a bulleted list of all the things Hero can do. I'm going to read it.
Let's read it.
Yeah.
It's like 28 moves or something.
Yeah. Heal, put you to sleep, teleport to center stage when you try to edgeguard, freeze you, throw projectiles, reflect projectiles while moving and attacking, be the fastest character, have deep breathing, have revenge, kill you at 0 randomly, hit you anywhere on screen.
Yeah. And crit.
So
and crit.
Like all the B attacks are different spells, but the down B is like a random list of a ton of different spells that you can randomly pull up from.
Which I kind of am really worried about. I mean, so we're recording this like at 8. Like it's supposedly coming out within the next hour.
Right.
So we won't have a chance to play it before we record this, but it's like, I'm a little concerned because it's like if the menu that pops down below where all the action is happening is always random, you're going to have to divert your eyes from the play area constantly if you're playing as him, you know?
Well,
so that's a little concerning.
I hear lots of people say...
Is it out now?
Yeah, it's out now.
I hear
I'm
lots
gonna download
of people...
it while we're recording, boys.
Lots of people say he sounds OP, but then there's that fact. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Next week,
I'm pulling out my Switch.
It sounds really hard to play and to play against.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you master it, maybe you're good at it. But
Ken Park would be great at playing this character.
a couple other quick things. So this is funny too because you were talking about this being a 22-minute presentation, and about 20 minutes of it were about the hero and his stage and the music, which we can talk about. Yggdrasil's altar based on Dragon Quest 11 is the stage, and there's 8 music tracks. And then they for the last 2 minutes went into the Mii costumes and then version 4.0 update, which had some interesting stuff that we just kind of got glanced over.
Because
we don't know
online tournaments.
which is mainly the thing I'm interested in is that they're adding easy mode to World of Light, which
it was very easy mode.
Oh yeah, because there's already an easy mode.
Yeah.
And then this spectate mode feature where you can like gamble on who's gonna win. And then the thing they just kind of gloss over, and there'll be online tournament mode,
which is tight.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I hope it's fun. Though
I think online tournaments were in Smash 4, right?
Oh, that might be. I don't know.
I think so.
But the rules are preset, and then they plan to hold special event tournaments as well. So hopefully the rules are not stupid. Or that they rotate frequently or something. Because I could just see it be all items, all time
Smash
battle.
balls only.
Yeah. It's just like the Nintendo World Championships. Yeah.
And anything else you want to talk about about Hero before we move on? And we'll talk about our hero next week.
Man, there's just so much attention paid to the models and the animations of the hero of all 4 different models, and
the stage too.
And the stage, there's just, I think that's what makes him great is that there's like attention to detail and much love poured into these characters.
Now watch whenever Banjo comes out, he's going to be like, okay, Banjo's out now.
I was wondering the same thing.
He doesn't give a shit about Banjo.
Here's your Western trash.
That's going to happen.
I was wondering that too.
He's not an anime sword boy. I do not care.
I wonder though if they'll like let somebody from Nintendo of America do it or something. You know what I mean? And like who's equally passionate about it.
Maybe Doug Bowser really likes Banjo.
I also wanted to mention a potential Smash leak that was talked about in the last day or two that may or may not, like any leak, be but it's just interesting.
Maybe potential spoilers for the next
so if you don't want to know more about Smash leaks, skip ahead. But I learned about this from Papagenos, who's always on top of this kind of stuff. Adeline leak is what he's calling it. There was somebody on 4chan back in December of last year who posted a list of like, I guess it was sort of like who you want in Smash or who you think will be the DLC characters. And they had Banjo-Kazooie, Hero with like the correct alts from these games, as well as the 2 things we don't know, which is Doomslayer and why am I blinking all of a sudden? David, help me out. Who was the other one?
It was Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, right? Male, female, Monster Hunter alts.
Yeah.
Which sounds possible.
We've heard Doomslayer before. And we heard Doomslayer and Ryu Hayabushi.
A lot of people think there'll be a Capcom representative, so Monster Hunter could be that.
Yeah, and I mean, Rathalos is in the game, so it kind of makes sense to have a Monster Hunter like hero in it instead of just a boss. I think the Doomslayer one was really specific. It said it was going to be from the 2016 model with like an armband from Eternal or something like that. Game. Yeah. So you know, I think that and us having heard Doom Guy before, I think kind of leads to that. And just the new
Doom Shadow Drop the timing of all this.
Yeah, that.
Even though this is an old post.
Bethesda has talked about how they've taken meetings with Nintendo before, and so it's like, well, I mean, obviously, if they've got a bunch of games on Switch, but like
about Smash
specifically, yeah. So I think take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, I'd be pretty happy with those. I don't know anything about Monster Hunter really, so that would be kind of probably just
generic.
To me another anime sword boy.
Yeah, it's hard to come down from Banjo. Yeah, that's like the tip of my hype.
Well, I think Doomslayer, like, I'm thinking of his moves right now. It's a lot of guns, shotgun, fucking chainsaw, like the rocket launcher. Like you can do a lot with Doom
a BFG.
Yeah, the BFG. Yeah.
So just to close this story out, somebody has said that they were the person that posted that, and it was just speculation.
Yes.
So. It was an anonymous post, so we don't know.
Actually, you know what? That was me who said that.
I like that you all call him Doomslayer, not the
Doom Guy.
Yeah.
I've always said
Doom Guy.
Doom Guy.
Yeah.
I think if they do put him in Smash, he's going to be Doomslayer. So that's why I'm saying it that way.
Doom Guy.
Let's breeze through these next things because we're going long. The Outer Worlds is coming to the Switch. They announced that today. That was a game announced at E3. I think I remember watching the Microsoft conference with you, Matt, and we were like, "What is this game?" We were trying to guess what it was. And it was new IP, so we were totally like,
"It's Obsidian's new game."
Yes. Yeah. It's like a big open world, interesting looking game.
Yep.
And hey, that's cool. It's coming to Switch. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Obsidian did the South Park games as well, so it's like I think they've had a good run with the Switch. So good for them. I was passingly excited for this game, but knew I didn't really have the platforms for it. Now I will probably get it.
Cool. And then this last bit of news will lead us into our discussion. And Nintendo is apparently replacing the Fire Emblem Three Houses voice actor for the main protagonist character, Byleth. And somebody else want to talk about this? I guess that the person who did the voice acting, there's not a lot of voice acting for the main character. It's in my experience, it's mostly been in battles.
Yeah, it's mostly in battles.
And I guess that they have been accused of sexual harassment or assault. I don't know the details of that, but have been forced to or I guess they're just patching this voice out. Is that what they're going to do?
That's what I read, and I want to clarify it's just the male version because you can choose male or female versions of the character. So it's the male Byleth voice actor.
And we have a name on here. Chris, is that the Chris?
Yeah, we'll say his name just so you never hire him for voice acting. Chris Niosi.
Or, I don't know, if he repents maybe 10 years down the line.
He made a big, long Twitter post where he basically copped to everything, and he said he's working on himself. And that,
wow.
You know what I mean? And it was a big, long, he didn't deny any of it or anything like that. So it's definitely a real thing. I mean, this is just kind of the age we live in right now. You know what I mean? The Japanese are very much about this as well. Like there was a story recently about how one of the main characters from the Yakuza games, or maybe it was Judgment, I think, had to be recast because of drug use. So it's like, definitely in Japanese culture, they'll just straight up patch you out of the game and rehire somebody. Yeah, they had to delay that game. So this is not uncommon in Japan, and I mean we've been seeing it in the West as well. So don't sexually assault people, and
we shouldn't keep your job.
But if we do, just
if I could change one mind tonight.
So I think that wraps up the news. We'll get into Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Cool. Also, I've just installed the update for Smash, so I'll give you my impressions at the end of this episode.
David will not be participating in the conversation for the next 20 minutes. He will be playing Hero and Smash. Real quick, kind of a brief overview of Fire Emblem series. And Austin, you jump in here, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but my understanding is the first Fire Emblem games were out on Japan only in 1990 for the Famicom, the NES, basically the Nintendo, original old school Nintendo in Japan. And then after Smash Melee kind of popularized Marth and Roy, they decided to release the Fire Emblem, the Blazing Blade to a Western audience, and that was 2003. And that was on the Game Boy Advance?
That was the Game Boy Advance. And the Blazing Blade was its like subtitle or whatever in Japan, but it just came over as Fire Emblem.
Oh, okay. It didn't have the subtitle, but maybe now they all do. And so then depending on how you count it, there's been a bunch of games somewhere in the teens, depending, because they've done some remakes and some spin-offs.
Yeah, fans mostly call Three Houses number 16.
16,
yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then most of the Fire Emblem games were on handhelds, is that correct?
After
the modern ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
NES, SNES period, console, and then came over on Game Boy Advance and have been
the
there
DS.
Almost ever since. There were two GameCube games.
Okay.
And the GameCube games did not sell very well, so the series almost died there. And Awakening was like, this is our last chance to kind of release a game and see how it's received. And so Awakenings is understood to have saved the system.
Revitalized it. Okay. And then
that was definitely the first one I ever played, was Awakening. Yeah.
And to just explain very briefly what kind of games they are like role-playing simulation games is how I hear it described.
Yes.
So like
you wouldn't call it a strategy game?
Or it's strategy role-playing specifically?
Yeah.
Yes.
Turn-based role-play strategy, top-down, grid-based
with
combat.
some simulation.
With some simulation.
What's the acronym for that?
A TTSRPG.
It's also a roguelite.
So, and then on July 26th, the other last Friday of this year, 2019, Fire Emblem Three Houses came out for the Switch, and that's what we're going to talk about. Though, unless y'all were kind of talking about your history with Fire Emblem, is there anything else you want to talk about in the history of Fire Emblem? Anybody
back in the day, before Fire Emblem Awakening came out, when I was playing a lot of emulators and stuff like that, I downloaded like a fan translation of one of the kind of original Fire Emblem games, trying to kind of catch up on my Nintendo culture back in the day. But I did not get very far in it, and the translation was very bad. Yeah, Awakening was my first game. I had it for the 3DS. I got it as a Christmas present from my brother Justin. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you. That's all on three. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Justin.
Very good. That was really fun, guys.
Let's do that more often.
But also, I didn't play it that much. So whatever, Justin.
Whatever, Justin.
I've historically had issues with strategy games. Like I think really the first real. I played a lot of Final Fantasy Tactics back in the day. But then other than that, really the only kind of tactical RPG game that I've ever really been able to get into has been Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, just because it's very easy to pick up and play. And so I've always kind of had issues with it, but Three Houses is one that I'm really looking forward to putting a lot of time into.
I'm going to interrupt right there because I have never played a Fire Emblem game until this one. And my strategy game background is the two games you just mentioned, Final Fantasy Tactics, which I got when I was like 17 or however old I was when it came out, and I was like, oh, this is different than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And I didn't play it a lot. And then I got really into Mario Rabbids, and so I think like I'm open to this genre now. And playing this game, I'm like, I'm into it. I can do it now.
Cool. It seems like a game that you would enjoy. Like,
yes, I'm really into this game, which I will gush about it in a little bit.
To echo that, I have no experience with Fire Emblem. Like I was a first-person shooter boy in Ohio, and so like this,
just a common first-person shooter boy. in Ohio.
Yeah, that's absolutely
that's a great Ohio accent right there.
As Patrick puts his fists on his hips.
This is why we need a camera for this.
So just like, give me elevator pitch. If you're a listener out there and you're like, Fire Emblem, skip past me. There's a lot of games. What's the pitch for
Three Houses?
Three Houses.
Okay, Austin, you want to start?
Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, dating sim, fun violence, fighting.
Yeah.
Good times.
I think that's pretty succinct. I think like,
are you interested, Matt?
Yeah.
This is probably not going to be very short, but like, strategy role playing game mixed with like almost like a life or teaching simulator, but also has just incredible depth to the customization. And if you don't like any aspect of any of those things, you can skip. You can automate and skip everything in this game. You can have the game play itself, basically. It's kind of weird because if you don't like
can
the
you
battles,
automate battles? Can you have the game play its own battles?
You can everything you can have the game pretty much pick for you.
Wow.
So if there's any aspect that you're more excited about or rather less excited about, you could just be like, I don't want to pick what to teach all these people. Just do it for me, and it will do that. But that's true of that's true of everything.
Geometry
in the
it
game.
is.
Well, it's all battle stuff.
Yeah. Right.
But I think Austin's pitch was pretty succinct.
Thank you for the pitch.
So I think that gives us the brief explanation of the game, but I feel like whenever we do these game specific episodes, I always close out with like my gripes about the game. And so I'm going to lead with that so that we can close out with the positive things.
Fuck this game. Let's hear it.
My gripes are the text size.
Yeah.
So playing this, I don't care if I'm playing it on the TV or in handheld. I have a real hard time reading the text.
Really?
It's not like I can't read it. It's just so all the text box, and I'm talking about sort of like not everything, but like the loading screen texts and stuff like that. It's like it's not the size of the screen. It's like a small box that takes up a third of the screen, and then it's tiny text. And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, when I'm playing handheld, it's like a foot away from my face.
Yeah. So and
a lot of people are complaining about
the
that
text
online.
size in this game in general is problematic. Not necessarily like the dialogue, that's fine, but like and not every menu, but some of them, and especially those sort of like things that pop up between things. I've played it on a PC monitor, and that's great. That's fine because I'm standing or sitting right in front of it.
Sure.
But whenever I play, even just on my TV, I'm like, I gotta sit close.
Yeah.
And there's no way to increase the text size.
Oh, apparently, and I've never done this. Y'all, David, have you messed with this? Like the Switch has a zoom feature built into the Switch.
Yeah, that was something that was added to the OS recently. If you double click the home button, it'll zoom in on anything, be it the menus that you're in or on a game or whatever. So it's like a system level zoom that they made specifically, I think, because of people complaining about like
that have
Xenoblade and like Monster Hunter that has a lot of like really small
Don't
text.
you dare.
Well, hey now.
No, come for Xenoblade.
Xenoblade's got some small text too.
Oh, it's a small ass text.
Yeah. So it's like, so there is that, but that's still annoying. I mean, because then it's like you have to zoom back out and you have to find where the text is. It's not a good solution.
Right.
Or you accidentally hit it once and go home instead.
Yes.
Right, well, that's just go back into the game. It's 2 seconds.
It's terrible, David.
Still would piss me off.
Does the text size bothering you at all? No?
Well, I just got new glasses, so I'm doing hot. I'm fine.
Yeah.
My other minor gripe would be the difficulty in this game. I've never played a Fire Emblem game. I've not have a whole lot of strategy background. I picked the easier difficulty, which I think was the right move. But once you pick a difficulty in this game, you're locked in.
You're stuck in it.
And I feel like I'm starting to get to the point now where I feel like I would like to bump it up. But I'm 15 hours into the game.
Did you do classic or do you have permadeath on?
I have permadeath on.
Okay, right.
So it's nice that they have these options. I'm a big fan of, like, I don't know, the game I can think of most recently is Wolfenstein 2 has at any moment you can change the difficulty.
Yeah.
And I think and not
World of Light,
and not
you can do
just
that, too.
that, but they also had 10 levels of difficulty in Wolfenstein 2. Like, I'm a big fan of that. Maybe there's some game reason you can't bump the difficulty up or down, but I would like to think that if it's just enemy AI and enemy attack power and that kind of stuff, that they could just scale that up and down if I chose.
So I started on hard, and I can scale it down to normal.
But then you're locked there, right? That's my understanding.
I'm locked there. You can't go back up.
Which is just dumb. Why can't you go back up?
But the mechanic that I understand is different. So you know how you have the calendar, and you can only do certain things on the weekend?
Right.
So one of the options is that you can do auxiliary battles.
Right.
I am limited to one auxiliary battle.
So,
are you too?
No, I'm not.
Exactly.
And in fact,
that's the difference.
We're going to get into the nitty gritty if we talk about this.
Yeah.
But like the first time I did an auxiliary battle, it didn't go away. And I was like, did my game not save that battle? Did I do something wrong? So I played it again, and then it didn't go away. And I was
it just lets you do the same battle over and over
you
again?
can grind a lot more in normal, which I then did, which is why I am now like, I wish I could bump this up to hard.
You're like hyper-powered now.
Because I've been grinding, like at first not even knowingly, like, why won't this go away? I will do this battle. And also, the game has activity points, which like you can pick the different things you do, and you get to do a certain amount of them. And it looked like I had one activity point for this battle, and I kept doing it over. I'm like, why is this not?
The meter is still
there's like
there.
a 1 there, but it doesn't matter. And so it really threw me off.
See, for me, it matters. So I can't experience farm the same way you can, and I have to choose like, okay, my guys are at 8, or my people are at level 8, and there are 2 battle options. One says recommended level 10, and one recommended 12. And so it's how do I think I can take those level 12 folks, or do I stick with the 10?
Versus what I did was just do this easy one, and then like it didn't go away, so I'll do the hard one now.
Yeah.
So I just want to say I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
So in normal RPGs, when you can like roam around and get into fights and build your experience and level your people up if you feel like you have that your folks aren't strong enough, your team isn't strong enough. In Fire Emblem, the older games especially, you had to follow the story, and there's only so many people you can kill for experience. So you have to plan out like, oh, Joe Schmo in the back, my archer hasn't gotten any kills.
Right.
And so I need to get a kill. Otherwise, the level progression of all my characters is going to pass him up, and he's going to get left in
So
the
you constantly have to like juggle whoever's fighting.
Yes,
Yeah.
but over here in
Okay.
easy mode, you can just grind it.
Yeah.
Right. I see.
And also in easy, I say easy mode because it's essentially what it is, even though it's normal. Is you have this ability to retreat in a battle, which I don't think you can do in hard.
Oh, no.
So this is another cheap way to grind experience, and I don't.
So you still get your experience. even
Yeah,
if
so
you
like you
retreat?
can get to the last guy in a battle and then retreat, and you will keep all of your gained experience and start the battle over again.
Wow.
Which
That's
I did
bonkers.
use once early on because I had to. I was like, you can kind of turn back time in these battles, and
well, that's a mechanic for even
Right.
in expert mode or whatever, right?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but you can turn back time in these battles. But I was at a point where like, there's nothing I can do without just restarting.
Right.
But what's this retreat thing do? Oh, that's like even better. I could just grind out for more experience.
So I think, Patrick, what you need to do is just play on an honor system and not abuse these mechanics. If you're like it's too easy, that's because you keep using these things.
You need an accountability buddy.
Well, the first few times I needed them,
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
but we're getting off topic from my gripes a little bit. But
Yeah.
but I think there's some weird difficulty stuff that I wish you
Yeah.
could. Just wish you could scale it up and down, and I don't know why you can't.
So it's like if I'm outside looking in to hear you both talk about this. So in like hard mode, it really allows you to be immersed in this world. So you really care about like the Joe Schmo, who your archer in the back, who you haven't leveled up in 2 matches. Like now he matters.
Yes.
Because you need to level him up in order to have long range combat.
Hey, my archer
right.
matters too.
But not as much.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly the fun tension of Fire Emblem is that like every decision matters, including in combat, like what you do and don't do. Because even Joe Schmo, he walks up and he's next to Selena, your mage, and he shoots his bow, and now they become BFFs. And you learn more about them than you would have.
Right, and that's where like the dating sim kind of comes in.
And I feel like there is a dating sim aspect to it, but it's also like a professor sim / just kind of team sim, because some of it's cultivating relationships between other
it's
people.
It's not necessarily romantic, is what you're saying. It's
not all of it is.
That's
though
right.
I think there is the potential for that with everybody. Right. You know what I mean? Like you can...
Not enough, actually.
You can... Right, so we can get into that, and we should.
Not with the dogs. You can't pet the dogs.
You can't pet the dogs.
It's like the difference between kissing on the lips and kissing on the butt.
Define petting.
You don't love someone until you kiss them on the butt.
I agree.
And that's just science.
So
I learned that in seminary.
But I think, like, as y'all are talking about it, like, my mind wants to min-max, like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Like, to play a game in order to grind, because that's, like, what RPGs have been.
I know.
But this game, much like Persona, is asking you to, like, slow down, be immersed in the world.
There's a lot of Persona, which I've never played, but
play a little bit differently rather than just trying to, like, be the strongest character.
That's what I'm hearing too. Is that this kind of feels a lot like a Persona game?
Yes. That's my understanding of not having played Persona games. But I really like the relationship simulator teaching stuff a lot more than not that I thought I wouldn't like it, but I just never played something like that. But I think it's really fun to like, because you get to, the more you play with these people, you get to see little cutscenes pop up and like relationships between these two people and these two people, and it's really kind of fun.
And you and I chose two different of the three houses.
I was just about to ask, because I know you guys do a podcast together. You guys do them playthroughs. But it's like, what houses did you guys pick?
I'm doing the Black Eagles, which is led by Edelgard.
Okay.
And I am following Dimitri and the Golden Deer.
Okay, I also picked the Golden Deer.
Yeah. He just winks at you so much. You're
Wait,
like, I'm
is
here
it Dimitri
for
or Claude?
Wait, no, it's Claude. Dimitri is the blue, the blue lion.
Claude,
right?
I've been playing
you
this
threw me
game.
off.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You've been playing a lot.
Claude.
You got a lot of names swimming around
That's
in
right.
your head. You got
That's
students to keep track of.
So it's basically the game kind of rotates. You follow at least for the first part. There's a time jump, and I don't think that's a spoiler. That's most people know that happens later in the game.
And that was teased by a trailer.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first chunk of the game, we don't know how much. I mean, how much time have you put into this game, Austin, roughly?
About 30 hours, but I also suffer from a thing called analysis paralysis.
So
where
half
I'm like,
of that is staring at a screen.
I'm like, I don't know what class to make him. I'm gonna go off and do some laundry.
This
Right.
game,
Play with the cat.
See,
come back.
I've heard it's about 8 hours, right, before the big time jump happens.
Ooh.
Do you think that's not true?
No.
I've played not with very much analysis paralysis, and I'm close to 15, and I feel like I'm way behind Austin.
Wow. Yeah.
So I hear the average is about 40 before you get to the time jump.
Christ
actually.
on high.
Yeah.
So, which makes sense because what I wanted to talk about is sort of the first part of the game is you follow a calendar, and it's got a literal calendar, and your little like almost like 8-bit sprite moves on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, with like the verdant moon and whatever. Yeah.
And it's got really crazy chapter names, which sound like an audiobook reader who says them. It's like the winter storm,
Yeah, you're right.
a summer spring. Yeah, it's like Obsidian Moon, Chapter 2.
This is Audible.
It is literally somebody that does audiobooks, I'm sure. So anyway, you follow this calendar, and on like Sundays you teach, on Sundays is your free day. Monday you teach, and it's like all these choices. So you can totally get analysis paralysis. But I'm trying to not worry about it too much and just make some decisions.
Are you autoing any of it?
I have not autoed anything, and I do not plan to.
I'm okay. I'm just, coming back to me and my tumultuous relationship with Fire Emblem. Like, this sounds like I'm going to get just overwhelmed really quickly with this game. Do you guys get that feeling at all?
No. So here's also part of it is that your characters, you can make these decisions of how to train them, but there's little arrows that tell you what they're good at. And if you feel more confident with the game, you can veer off those paths. But if you don't want to veer off that path, you can just, I'm going to choose the two things that they're really good at, invest in.
Okay.
And
So for someone like me, that is like that I do get overwhelmed quickly.
Have you played
You know what I mean?
Xenoblade
Like,
Chronicles 2, for example?
no, I because I was worried that I would get completely overwhelmed.
I was
going to
say that I don't think that it's necessarily more complicated than that.
Right.
But it feels less complicated. It's weird. It's
Okay.
like there's so many things in the game, especially for the first 5 hours, is like everything you do is completely new every time.
See, like that's where I'm at. See, like, so I started playing the game and I got, I was maybe 35 minutes in or something like that. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm meeting these teachers and they're like, here, let me introduce you to every single student at the school. And I'm just like, I've been barely playing this game and I've met every kid at the school. And I'm just completely overwhelmed. And it's like, and I'm sure what you guys are saying about the auto stuff and the automating, that almost sounds better to me.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's like, I only have so much headspace to keep stuff around because I also have that analysis paralysis thing where it's like, but when they were like trying to tell me like which team to pick, I was like, well, fucking, if I pick the wrong one, then the whole game I'm going to have, regrets. And then I'm going to have to play another 80-hour run.
One thing that I think that surprised me that I really like about the sim part of it is that all these characters have very different personalities. And you might think like that's, and the voice acting in this game. Let me talk about that for a second.
I am already a fan of the
voice acting in this game is phenomenal.
Really?
Like, I don't think I have seen a cutscene or any sort of voice acting thing that I rolled my eyes at.
Right.
Like some of the characters are a little bit tropey and whatever and cutesy, but honestly, it's really well done. Like whoever directed the voice acting for English did a really good job.
So are you guys playing in English, not Japanese?
Yes,
English.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of dialogue choices. You kind of have to know what you're doing,
right?
Like you respond to people and they either like your choice or don't like your choice.
So you can kind of hear in their voice like what they think.
No, these little heart things pop up.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Right.
So like if you're having a conversation with somebody and it gives you 2 or 3 options and you don't get a heart, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I said the wrong thing. Unless you don't care about that.
That's part of my 30 hours is that I have not been you can like read the text faster than it's being performed.
Oh yeah,
right?
you can
but I'm like,
spam
I'm gonna listen to all of this, even all
Yeah.
of my little supports. I'm like, I'm just gonna enjoy the experience and the voice acting,
or at least skip ahead at the end of a sentence. That's what I've always done in games of like in Skyrim. It's like there's always like a period in the middle of what they're saying, so I like skip forward when it sounds like they're done.
You can't skip,
but I've
in the
already
middle.
read ahed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
And avoiding spoilers. Some text conversations that you think are, we've been doing this for a while and I'm building relationships or ruining relationships and that's the stakes. There was already a bigger stake conversation that like for a second my heart dropped and I was like, oh fuck, what's gonna happen? And the outcome still felt heavy, but was not as heavy as I thought. And so I was like, okay, good. But it happens fairly early on. So I'm interested to see how that progresses.
It was pretty masterful dancing around.
That was.
Spoiler there. But okay, so you guys are enjoying the story, and you guys are kind of invested in the.
I think
in the plot.
real quickly, the story is interesting too. Like I think
Yeah.
it's Austin told me this. This is not my thought. That Fire Emblem generally is kind of based on Western fantasy rather than like. So that's like, you play a game like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and there's all that
Hell yeah, baby.
weird Japanese races of like little bunny guys or whatever, squid looking guys or whatever. This game doesn't have a lot of that.
Yeah, it's a very human story.
It's got like it's almost like the story of the Roman Empire or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of, or the Holy Roman Empire, I should say, is what I meant. Like the church is kind of like a very Catholic, like circa 800 to 1200
Yeah.
80 story.
And there's a central church and a Western church.
Right, and there's a split there.
Yeah, there's a historical split of the Eastern and Western Church.
So it seems to be based on that, and it's kind of interesting because it's all this sort of religious stuff, but also like we will bathe in their blood kind of stuff too,
Yeah.
So it's like I think this feels like what history is like in terms of the Catholic Church,
Mm-hmm.
You're at the monastery and you're like, oh yeah, I'm here for the goddess, I'm here for the religion. Oh fuck, we're gonna kill these bitches.
Yeah, and they're like, we will show them what it means to disobey. We'll stand on their graves. It's like, oh shit. Anyway, we've talked about this a lot. I mean, any other things that y'all have as questions or that you want to talk about, Austin?
How far are you, Matt?
Zero.
I'm not very far either. I really want this to be the Fire Emblem that I get into. Would you say that this is a good Fire Emblem for people to start on?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never played one before, and I really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This really feels like they have honed and refined a lot of things that they have been playing with for a long time, especially those relationships of, once again, like, we have these different houses, and so there are characters I know next to nothing about, and so I'm excited for my next playthrough or to talk on our podcast to learn about these characters.
I feel the same way because they're in there's like you can recruit characters that aren't in your house actually, but there are a few that are gated off. And not just the obvious ones that are the leaders of the other house. Like I actually spent a bunch of time early on talking to somebody, and then I was like, they aren't doing anything that I can't even get stuff out of them.
Like Draco Malfoy will never be a Gryffindor.
Right, exactly. And so I Googled, or I didn't actually Google this, but I was reading something else about the game when I had a question, and I happened to see like, oh, you can't recruit that person if you are in a Black Eagle's house. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to stop sending them presents.
No more presents
That's
for
a
you.
mechanic.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, were you guys talking about tea on the podcast, or was that before the podcast?
No, yeah, you can you can take people to meals, sing with them in the choir, take them to tea cook
time.
with them. Then
You
maybe
can
there's one or
finish
two
choir
more.
practice.
There's all kinds of stuff you can do to deepen your bonds with people.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you see unique cutscenes. And then also, they've spent a shitload of time on voice acting because there's potential cutscenes with like except for the one you can't recruit, potential cutscenes with every other character you can recruit with every character in your house.
Wow.
It's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't know you could sing in a choir, so I'm going to be playing this game quite a bit more.
And some people are excited about it and some aren't. It's pretty funny.
And then I guess my other question for you guys would be, and especially for you, Austin, would be, does this feel like a console version of what has been a handheld franchise?
Absolutely. It feels like the proper upgrades, and especially I feel like with it being the Switch, which is kind of an in-between of it is a home console, but it also has to go portable, that it has successfully translated to the Switch. And they've brought a lot of new mechanics. They really kind of leaned into innovating, and I think in very successful ways. There are mechanics from Heroes, the mobile game, that they've translated in different ways.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, which is
I know you're a big fan
cool
of that.
To see that, it's cool to see those come through. So you can tell that they said this is going to be our big console game. What can we do to distinguish it and show that we're pushing it? And
Also, it's my understanding that in no other Fire Emblem game, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is there that's like the monastery where you can walk around. Like, so it's just been a story that progresses linearly. Not that this doesn't too, but like there is that time where you can just go look
it's
for
not
items.
just going from point A to point B to point C on a map. You're like,
you can wander around in a hub world kind of a
That's
thing.
pretty cool.
The closest thing to that in Fates, you had a little My Castle, and you could go around and do things, but you would go talk to someone, and they had a real quick like sentence, and every character had like 3 of those that they would cycle through, and they were really quick activities, but it felt like they didn't add anything to the experience, and it felt more like a chore than like... This feels like you're really in this living environment, and I feel pulled into it.
I know. It's almost my favorite part is walking around. It gets boring a little bit, but it's also my favorite part. It's weird. I have a weird relationship with that.
Fair.
Cool. So, real quick, Austin and I if you want to hear us talk about it more, you can hear us on a podcast called Optimal Pairing. We will gush more about Fire Emblem Three Houses. Our next episode come out this Saturday.
Yeah, I am. I listened to the first episode. I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to hearing more. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's, I love the idea of you never having played a Fire Emblem game. Fire Emblem game, you having played pretty much every Fire Emblem game, and then you guys both
America,
experiencing the story at the same time.
That's the hook.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
Yeah, and I'm excited. This episode will be the first episode since the game's come out.
Right.
And so we've held off on discussing a lot.
Austin,
so this first episode is going to be jam-packed.
We keep texting and then being like, we'll just talk about it later.
Save it for the podcast.
Yes.
Save it for the pod.
So
Patrick
Check it out.
Knisley story.
Yeah. So I think that wraps up our convo on that. Good talk as always.
Hell yeah.
Good talk.
Send my regards to Edelgard.
I will. She's a badass. Anyway.
She is a badass.
So
I like her hair.
yeah, she's got ribbons in her hair, but she does not have any problem bathing in the blood of her enemies.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
We're done. We're going to talk about what else we've been playing. So obviously, Austin and I probably have mostly been playing Fire Emblem. But Austin, have you had time to play anything else?
That's been it. I do want to plug real quick that I am female by birth, and I'm trying to romance my little nerd boy Ignatz. So I've been taking him to tea, taking him to the library. So
You guys sing in the choir?
been fogging up those glasses.
Hell yeah, baby.
I've mostly been playing Fire Emblem, but I've also squeezed in a little bit of Mario Maker 2. I think that honestly, you guys, for the next several weeks or months, that's what I'm going to be like. What have we been playing? Me, it's Mario Maker 2 and Fire Emblem. These are my these
Which
games
is
are
pre-record
my jam.
that and then play it every episode.
I've done more like of my son drawing out Mario levels and building those. I love building levels in that game. And honestly, that's pretty much all I've been playing. What about you two?
I'll go first. Yeah. No, David's playing Super
David.
Smash Brothers right now.
I'm quickly playing some hero so I can give you guys impressions. Go for it, Matt.
Yeah, I've been playing Trover Saves the Universe,
Whoa, what's that?
which is a VR game by Justin Roiland, who does the voices on Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that game.
It's insane. It's a crazy fucking game, and like you kill people, and it gives you this these idea of choices. Like this guy, it's like a kiosk, like this yellow looking guy. He's like, I need to upgrade your stuff, but in order to upgrade your stuff, you have to save my dog. He's over there, and then the dog is with like 4 other dogs, and you don't know which one to like save. So you kill all of them, and then he's like, fuck you, dude, I'm going to give you the upgrade anyway. And then every upgrade is they spit on you.
Oh.
That sounds like my kind of game.
Yeah, it's like the wildest game. It's like super colorful, and like Justin Roiland, like he's a great voice actor, and it's super funny.
Yeah, he's a really funny guy. You ever see that clip of him like doing all the voices from that like courtroom? Like
No.
There was like this crazy courtroom case, and the stenographer just like wrote everything down, and like the defendant was insane and the prosecutor was insane. They're both yelling at each other, and he does both the voices.
Oh my God.
Check it out. Yeah, it's really, really, really fun.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, he's such a talented voice actor.
Man,
right?
it's just so funny.
What's the name of that one again?
Trover Saves the Universe.
It's like you're playing it on PSVR.
I'm playing on a VR. Yeah, it's
Nice.
fun. Also, non-game related, I started watching Letterkenny. No one knows what that is.
No.
It's a Canadian sitcom. It's Canadian Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Oh, right.
/ It's Always Sunny, and it's full of Canadian slang. And y'all, my lifeblood is new slang. And it's so fucking good.
Hell yeah.
It's so good.
Hell yeah.
And what's the name of that?
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
Oh my God.
That's great.
Like I'm not normally captured by television, or especially this show has 7 seasons, but like Community, love Community.
One of the best shows ever.
Love Dan Harmon.
Yeah.
But like first episode, I'm like, fuck man.
Yeah.
I'm in, baby. I'm in.
Well, I didn't know we could do shows. I've been watching. I've been watching The Expanse. If you guys have not seen that show, please watch it. I've been watching it with my girlfriend. I've seen it already before, and I'm showing it to her. And I've just gotten caught up way in it again. New season's coming out this December on Amazon Prime. Baby Jeff Bezos, daddy. Anyway, but other than that, what I have been playing, I just played a match with the hero. I played with the Erdrick variant.
How was that?
And I won against level 6 Mewtwo CPU. So I guess that means I'm the best Smash player in the world. He feels weird. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, his A attacks feel good, but the menu thing is bizarre. I just kind of sat there frozen for a while. It was very confusing.
Quick shout out to Amir, who just posted on our Discord. My first impressions of Hero is that he's interesting but far from broken. So, I guess there were concerns about him being
That was me. I was saying like because he has all of these
28 attacks
moves,
or whatever.
28
Yeah.
attacks.
Yeah.
And also a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel very weird about it, just having played this one. That having been said, I was like listening to you guys and fighting against the level 6 at the same
Fuck
time.
you, bro.
Let me see. What else? Oh, I got another Tetris Maximus Cup the other day at work, baby. Yo,
Yeah.
what's up? I do my job. What else? Oh, in addition to that, I won my first run of Slay the Spire.
Oh,
and that
nice.
felt really good. So that's been a good time. I've been playing a lot of Doom recently, revisiting that game. That game,
Doom 1 or 2?
Doom 1. Yeah. I basically I'm going to go through, cause they're really cheap. It's like Doom 1 is $5, Doom 2 is $5, and then Doom 3 is 10.
Can you enter the cheat codes on the Switch?
I don't know. But, why would you?
I don't know, because that's
Dude,
what I did when I
you
was a
mean
kid.
IDDQD or IDKFA or ID Clip?
Yes.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you plug in a keyboard, you
Yeah,
can. That'd be very interesting to try out. But I mean, it just doesn't feel like it's aged today. Doom is still just as fun as it was when it came out. And then on top of that, the last thing I will say, and of course the Mario Maker, I played the demo for Oninaki. The new Tokyo RPG Factory game that's coming out. The same people who made Lost Sphere and I Am Setsuna.
That's a Square subsidiary, right?
Yeah, it's a Square published game developed by Tokyo RPG Factory. And the director of this game is the director of Chrono Trigger, which is what really drew me to it.
No way.
And it was also just something I thought that looked really good in the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
a
this is
few
from like
months
the
ago.
February Direct.
I think
or
so,
whatever?
yeah. And then they also showed it at I think the Square presentation at E3. I've been playing some of it. It's like an action RPG sort of situation. It's not turn-based. And I'm enjoying it so far. And the graphics are really good. The story is a little thin at the moment. I like the concept behind the game, but it kind of just pushes you into it with some like kind of very light dialogue. So hopefully I kind of get a little bit more caught up in the story, but I already like the characters. I like the art design. I like the concept of kind of like going between the living world and the dead world. And it's all about like reincarnation and stuff like that. And the game starts with being like, my parents died today. And it's just like a little sad kid who's both his parents are dead. But yeah, something that's kind of cool
Like a
about this
Disney
demo
movie.
is, whatever progress you make in this demo is carried over if you finally get the game.
That's
so
nice.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing for Octopath.
Yeah,
They've been
that's
doing that
right.
for a lot of Square games. So yeah, if the concept interests you or if you like Chrono Trigger, it's definitely worth checking out. It's not up there with Chrono Trigger for me yet. I've only played a little bit of the demo, but so far I'm really enjoying it.
Cool. Cool. I think that does it then.
Watch The Expanse.
Daddy Bezos.
Daddy Bezos.
Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Corduroy for doing our music. If you want to give us a review on iTunes or send us a message if you got a show idea or just want to say something to us, do that. You can find us on Facebook and all the other things.
Join our Facebook group.
Join our Facebook
Join that group.
Join our
Yo,
Discord.
can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you
Last episode, I talked about What Remains of Edith Finch.
right.
Austin reached out to me, and another person reached out to me. Your gifts are coming.
You did.
Oh, I was joking,
I'm not.
but I'm happy to. I'll take it for you.
There's something you should know about me is that I follow through on my promises.
That's good.
Like if there's a quote in Breaking Bad, I really believe in no half measures. And if I'm
you will
gonna,
fucking enjoy this game. Austin.
There's also that quote from I think it's from Parks and Recreation, and it's Ron Swanson, and he goes, "Never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing."
Yeah.
And I live by that as well.
Well, thank you, Matt.
Or
Yeah.
there's the quote from Boardwalk Empire, which is, "You can't be half a gangster."
I think we're a television podcast.
Oh yeah.
So your gifts are coming. The Nintendo eShop doesn't allow you to gift individual items.
Oh.
So we might have to work on the honor system.
Or,
Yes, sir,
Or
we
like,
can.
do they sell those on Humble Bundle? I know you can buy some codes for some games on that.
Oh, that's
That's a
an
good
interesting
question.
idea.
Yeah.
I don't, but not every game. so.
Humble Bundle used to work with the Wii U a lot. There was like a Wii U Humble Bundle that was cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully they do one for the Switch. I kind of forgot Humble Bundle was a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Anyway, I think that wraps it up. If you want to find me specifically on Twitter or whatever else, I am PDYX.
Hey, I'm on Twitter. You can find me at Matthew, METHYOU.
I am pretty much everywhere on the internet at Monolith Fiji. What about you?
I am Cookie Cat Quartz with Q's on most things. My internet existential crisis means I have about 12 other names, but those are the significant things that you should find.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for listening. We've got a great episode next week of a topic that we certainly know what it's going to be. So be sure you tune in
television.
next week. Yeah. Next week we're going to be talking all about TV. We're going to be talking about the TV mode on the Wii U. That's what we'll be doing. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening so much. We couldn't do this without you. Just again, I want to reiterate, join our Facebook group. It's popping off recently. We just hit 200 members on the Facebook group, which is awesome. And it's just like every day there are all these new posts. It's just been a great time, and it's a really good way to keep in touch with fellow gamers. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.